Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about something that honestly I have struggled a lot with, and that is breaks. Lack of structure can be hard on a lot of people who have mental illnesses, and for me, I know that I've noticed that whenever I don't have anything to do, like whether it's school or work, whenever I don't have anything to do, my depression gets a lot worse and my OCD gets a lot worse, which probably a lot of that has to do with the fact that I have a lot more time to ruminate about things, so it's time for depression to like slide in there, you know what I mean? And since I know that this is a problem for a lot of people, today I want to talk about breaks and how to handle them when you have a mental illness and you're scared of a relapse. Okay, before we get started with the video, if this is a topic that interests you, then be sure to like this video or send me a comment. Let me know what you think about my suggestions and leave your own suggestions. What's worked for you in the past? Or do you just not have any problems with unstructured time? I envy you. And if you aren't subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button because we talk about mental illness every week here on Kat Hashway's channel, previously known as Shalom Aleichem. Anyway, that joke is not going to age well. Then again, oh no, everything is crooked. I know we talk about OCD a lot on my channel, however, sometimes my perfectionism is overridden by desperation, and last night when I was trying to put this wallpaper up, it was a hard time. So some of my things are crooked now because when I put them back up, they're crooked. It was also like 1 in the morning, so maybe I'll fix it, maybe I won't. I hope it's an exposure for you and you get to fight back your OCD because of my bad decorating. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So the first thing to do is to create a schedule, and I cannot emphasize this enough. I first got this advice from my first OCD therapist. This was about 6 years ago, and this was my first tip on how to structure unstructured time. I had just left my intensive outpatient program, and I was having a really hard time with managing all of the free time I now had. Now it's a habit, and every time I enter a new season of life, I create a new schedule. I've actually even saved my favorite calendar on my computer because I got tired of looking for it. I'll show you guys that one. There's a lot of great calendar resources out there, so I would suggest getting a weekly schedule, plan calendar thing on the internet. Find your favorite one according to your needs and use that. Yeah, make your schedule and try to stick to it because, you know, once you make it, if you don't stick to it, that's not really going to help you, and that is also a weakness I have, but next, you really want to wake up at the same time every day, even though it's hard. And yes, even if you're tired, even if you need to catch up on sleep. There's a few reasons for this. First of all, it keeps your sleep schedule on track, which means that you're not lying awake at night ruminating about your feelings. Secondly, if you wake up early even though you're tired, that means that you're still going to go to bed at the same time every night, meaning that you're still going to be getting a good full night's sleep and you're not going to start, you know, inching towards going to bed later and later and waking up later and later. And I find that being awake when the rest of the world is awake really helps me too. It's not my healthiest state, I've noticed. And when I wake up early, I tend to get more done, I feel more rested, and being around other people is a lot easier when they're also awake. There's a lot of things about it that I think work together to make this feel healthier for me. And this is something that I also really struggle with, like a lot. Like I woke up at 4 p.m. today, but it is something that I aim for. So I'm not pointing fingers, but it is a goal. Something that I always try to do on a break is to designate time to doing something that I enjoy. So like all of the hobbies that you didn't get a chance to do when you were in school full time, you can now do over your winter or summer break. For me, this was always making videos and maybe reading casually, because when you read textbooks all the time, it's harder to read casual books, at least for me. And then it could be exercising or making art, whatever you enjoy. Make time for that. Put it in your schedule. Another thing that I've had suggested to me is volunteering. Volunteering is a really easy way to get out of the house and you get to do something good, so it makes you feel good and it makes other people feel good, so that's good. But yeah, volunteering, there's always volunteer positions available. I used a website, I think it was called Volunteer Match or something like that. It has all of the options for my area and even online things. So if you are interested in doing something like that, it is something that you can do to structure your time when you're not able to get a job, not ready to get a job, whatever situation the situation is, or if you're just out of school for like a week or a month and you can't just get a job because you're about to go back to school. volunteer. And the process is usually pretty easy because, you know, they want you, they need you. And then you can structure your time however you'd like and go as much as you want. Next, something that I always do on breaks is make my appointments and schedule meetups with my friends. When I was living away from home at school, whenever I'd come back for a week-long vacation, I would schedule all my appointments with my psychiatrist, my doctors, what have you, my therapist. And honestly, it really filled up my schedule and kept me busy during that time. Another thing is making those appointments to see your friends, and that's really important. I always found though, like during those week-long vacations, I would schedule all these things, and then I would find like everyone who's at home wants to see me. So like I have two grandmas who want to see me, and I always struggled like, how do I fit in this time to see my grandmas? You'd be surprised how busy you get when you do that. Although maybe you don't have as many doctor's appointments as I do. But yeah, you know, get your eyes checked, whatever, get your teeth done. Just be aware of what you need to do and make those appointments a few weeks ahead of time. My next tip, vitally important, always overlooked, let yourself rest. When I would go on school breaks, I would always try to designate time to being productive, especially in regards to making videos, since that's my thing. But I found it incredibly hard to actually do it, like to just do the thing. And then I would always go into therapy and say, you know, I've been really wanting to do this thing, but I just haven't been able to make myself do it. And then my therapist, she'd give a bunch of like behavioral modification tips, but eventually one day she just told me, well, do you need time to rest? You just worked really hard on a semester at school and this is your break from that work. I think you deserve a break. Is it okay to just relax? And this was a complete epiphany for me. It's okay to not have a project for every second of the day. It's okay to spend time doing nothing. In fact, it's kind of vital for us. Relaxation is part of the human experience. We need it. There's actually been a lot of studies that show that people who take breaks and like real vacations from work tend to do better. So if not being productive makes you stressed, I think it's important to ask yourself why that is. That is not normal. I told myself I wasn't gonna say that is not normal, but now here I am. But yeah, that's not a normal human reaction. The normal human state is to relax sometimes and work other times. So if something about relaxing really stresses you out, I think it's important to ask yourself why and look into the unconscious drive of that, because I bet there is one. Moving on, my next tip is to go out at least once a day. Schedule it into your schedule. Even if it has to just be a walk, even if you're eating a lot of fast food because there's a public health emergency and everything else is closed, maybe this works better without the emergency, but really you catch my drift. You catch my drift. This was another tip that my first OCD therapist gave me after I left the intensive outpatient program and I had a lot of time on my hands and I couldn't keep my depression from relapsing. So she told me to do this, and because of that, I went out almost every day for like 3 years straight, maybe, give or take a day. I went out every day for like years. And like you may wonder, what even is there to do? Like what is there to do outside my home? I used to go shopping, even if it was just browsing, and I used to go get froyo and ice cream a lot. I used to go to all of the vegetarian restaurants in my area. That's kind of how I got into the habit of loving to go to new vegetarian restaurants everywhere I go. And then you can go to new parks in your area, you can go to old parks that are nostalgic for you. I used to do that. I also love swinging on the swing sets, so I used to swing. Or you can go to a bike path or beaches. But again, it can just be going out for a walk or sitting out on your front lawn, if that's what it has to be. Baby steps count. Just leave your house, be in the presence of other people. It makes a really big difference, in my opinion. And I think I actually made a video really early on in my channel loosely based on this habit. So if I find that, then I will put a clip here. After going to the mall, we went to Kiwi Burst. Yay! My frozen yogurt, which is actually a sorbet with strawberries and kiwis, because kiwis are amazing. My last advice, don't be hard on yourself. Okay, so if you're doing all of these things to try to help your mental illness and try to help yourself to not relapse, and then you're really hard on yourself about it because you can't do it perfectly and perfection is impossible, then you're going to end up making yourself feel worse. And then doesn't that like kind of defeat the purpose? You're working really hard on your mental health by giving yourself structure, but then you're being really mean to yourself when you don't follow that structure perfectly. No one is perfect. No one follows a schedule perfectly. And having that flexibility is also a really big part of having good mental health during breaks and during times of work. Be flexible with yourself, be kind to yourself, And like I said before, you do need to rest sometimes. So honor yourself by allowing yourself to have some time to rest. Put it in your schedule. And again, that schedule is very important. I would make that schedule. I know I don't always follow my schedule, but making it sets me miles above than when I don't make it. Then it's just a recipe for disaster. So, but that's all I have to say today. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for watching my video, and once again, I'll remind you to comment down below what your ideas are. How did you help yourself structure breaks? And if you have no problem with this, let me know what you think, whatever. And don't forget to hit subscribe if this content is fascinating to you, like it is to me. So thank you guys for listening to my tips and my experience, and I hope this helps you in some way. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye! And if you are not yet subscribed, be sure to click that subscribe button, and we can talk more about it in the future, and we can have fun together, and what am I saying? I sound like I'm luring someone into